Welcome to another episode of the New Era Nerds podcast. I'm your host, Tommy, with my co-host here, Logan. This is actually going to be the kickoff episode for season 2. We are going to be breaking up seasons just by topics and things that we're talking about. It allows a little bit of an easier transition for us. So season 1 was really all Falcon and Winter Soldier stuff. We touched on WandaVision and we dabbled into a little bit of Star Wars, but now that we're into season 2, we're going to be getting heavy into that because of Star Wars. The Bad Batch is coming out today because this is being released on May the 4th. So Logan, happy Star Wars Day.
May the 4th be with you.
Before we get too far into it, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the account and like the video if you enjoy the content. This is going to be a pretty interactive episode. So Logan and I, we're going to do a lot of getting to know us and kind of getting to know where we're coming from in our fandoms and what we like and don't like and things like that. So it's going to be pretty interactive for you. We want you to comment along some of your favorites, least favorites when we get into that. So yeah, be sure to subscribe, like, and follow along there. Also, our socials, Twitter and Instagram, are at New Era Nerds Pod. I know on Instagram we're doing a giveaway at 500 followers. So, you never know what it might be. It could be a Funko like over back here. It could be something from that Lego Star Wars collection that I displayed on the Instagram and TikTok. So, make sure you follow along there too. We're always posting content. Logan, May the 4th be with you. Happy Star Wars.
May the 4th be with you. Happy Star Wars Day. Just wanted to give a quick shout out to everybody that watched our YouTube video. I thought it was going to get like 3 views. It ended up getting like 17. So all 17 of you, I guess you and I are 2 of them. But however, and one of them is my wife. But thank you to everybody who watches. We truly appreciate it. You guys are what keeps us going, keeps us doing what we're doing, and just keep being nerdy, man. But yeah, May the 4th be with you. How are you? How's the day in the week of a nerd?
Oh, it's great. It's great. It's still Monday right now, so it's early, but
Right.
Tomorrow or today when you're watching it, it is May 4th. The release of Star Wars, The Bad Batch is here. I've been waiting for this for a while. I love all things like clone troopers and stuff like that. So this show is going to be pretty sweet, and I am more than excited for it. What about you?
Right. I'm super excited about it. I actually just finished up watching the Clone Wars not too long ago. It was something that I just put off for a while.
Mhm.
Because it just, it wasn't at the top of my priority list. But here over quarantine, I said I have nothing better to do. Let's get into some cartoon Star Wars.
Oh yeah,
So
a lot of
I,
people put it off because it's a cartoon, but it's awesome Star Wars content. They get into so much stuff. It really ties a lot of this Clone Wars obviously ties in episode 2 and 3
right.
together seamlessly. It's brilliantly done,
Well,
and
and
I think it's really enjoyable.
it gives you the fillers, like you said, it kind of
Mhm.
ties everything in. It brings everything all into one. You know how you got from one place to another. And, as someone who was, I guess, again, I'm still, an avid fan, avid nerd. I'll never consider myself an expert on any topic, but, I had seen every movie and, I thought that was about it. But, little did I know there was so much more to get
Yeah.
into. There was a whole other world to immerse myself in. But, that being said, I've been just watching these Bad Batch trailers over and over again, just never thinking I would ever be that into a Star Wars cartoon, but here we are, here we are.
Yeah, exactly. And like, never would I have thought that we're going to get a show specifically about one group of special forces clone
Right.
troopers. The show itself, the Clone Wars, there's a couple episodes every now and then where you'll follow a group of clones, the 501st, led by Anakin Skywalker, or Obi-Wan's, who's led by Commander Cody, and stuff like that. You'll get episodes like that. And I always really enjoyed that. Like I said before, I'm always drawn to the clone troopers. I think that just like something about their look I've just always really liked.
Right.
Any of like the troopers in armor, so like stormtroopers, clone troopers, Mandalorians, anything like that, I'm super into. So I'm really, really pumped about that. So, and also like timeline wise, it's taking place. I'm assuming it's going to start right after Order 66 from Episode 3. So we might get a little bit of crossover from Episode 3 at the very beginning of the series. And then moving forward, it'll be really interesting timeline wise, because I believe it is supposed to pick up right during Order 66. So we'll get to see how they reacted to it and things like that.
Right. And I guess do you want to get into, what we think's going to happen, and do you want to jump right in?
Yeah, for sure. So like
Um,
obviously we're recording this the day before it comes out, so we have no idea.
right.
And we're probably going to sound like idiots, and this content is going to be totally irrelevant
But that's the
the
fun of
day
it.
that it comes out. But who cares? We're talking Star Wars. It's always
Okay. So I guess I'll go first. I think we're gonna get the group of soldiers that I don't know if this is concrete or not. I've just been watching the trailers, honestly. I haven't been reading up on it too much, but I do believe that we're gonna get, the group of soldiers that Order 66 didn't work on, right? I mean, would you say that makes sense?
Yeah, so that would be Rex, Commander Wolf, and Gregor, the clones who
Right.
were successfully able to remove their inhibitor chips.
Okay.
So
So
actually, like I was telling you before the episode, new collection alert. We got a Commander Wolf from the Clone Wars, right?
bam,
Black
bam, bam,
Series
bam,
figure.
bam.
Oh yeah.
I love
So
it. I love it. It
I hope
looks
we see a
great.
little bit of him. I always thought he was super cool. I love him. Obviously, Commander Rex is badass. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think we will be getting some of them as well.
Right. And so
Well, they're
I
in the
guess
trailer.
what I think I guess the main conflict I think we're gonna have is Tarkin trying to, I guess, install inhibitor chips back into the Bad Batch. You know what I mean? So like,
Okay.
Wolf and the other members of who is going to end up making up this Bad Batch. So I think
Yeah, I
I
definitely
think
think we'll see the team grow.
Right. I think that's where we're gonna get at least the main conflict. Obviously, there's gonna be several different branching. We're gonna have hit different branches of conflict and micro conflict throughout the whole series of
Right.
the whole series of things. But I think that's gonna be what we end up seeing.
Yeah.
We get Fennec Shand, which I'm
Yep.
oh my god, she is such a freaking badass, man.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
We've only seen her in Mandalorian so far. So
r-
super cool that they're pulling a
right,
character from that and bringing it way back in the timeline into another show. So that's really cool. Also, animated version. We've only seen her live action before.
right. And so, I mean, yeah. What do you think about that? I mean, how much of a role do you think she plays in this show?
Okay, so this actually gets me super, super excited because I believe we are going to get, well, obviously we're going to get Fennec Shan,
Right,
and which leads me to believe that we might possibly get some Boba Fett. He in his armor, not the little kid Boba Fett that we saw
right,
in the clones, and they do child Boba a little bit in Clone Wars as well. But I'm thinking like young adult Boba in his armor back here, because I know I talked about it before on the podcast, not on the YouTube. This is before we were up there, but for the last season of the Clone Wars, they originally wrote in a scene where him and Cad Bane, another bounty hunter, have a standoff, and Cad Bane shoots him in the head, and that's how he gets the dent in his helmet.
right,
Obviously, they team up in The Mandalorian. They don't really team up officially until season 1 of The Mandalorian, when he finds her out on the desert after Mando just kind of left her for dead out there. Um, but just because she is in there, it gives me a glimmer of hope that we may get my boy Boba Fett.
absolutely. And both Tommy and I
Also,
are
other
profess.
cool characters. Sorry, not to run
Go
over you
ahead.
like,
Absolutely,
but like
absolutely.
I think we're gonna get more. I don't think Asajj Ventress died in Clone Wars.
Okay,
I might be remembering that wrong. But
that's
I
always a
don't
quick
know if she
Google
died.
search.
So if she didn't, I think we'll probably see more of her. I'm hoping that we're going to see more Clone Wars style Vader, and also we know Darth Maul is running around doing who knows what right now, some underworld stuff. So I think it'd be really cool to see him in there as well.
It does appear that she sacrificed herself. It was that
That's
was when
right.
she was with
For
Dooku.
Ahsoka.
Right, 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 right.
Yeah. Okay.
So she is dead. Rest in peace. She
Yeah.
was a bounty hunter now, or
He was kind of
an
like a
assassin.
pawn, yeah, like an assassin pawn for Count
Right.
Dooku.
Right.
Uh, Obviously, she's a Force wielder, had like the
Hardo.
two red lightsabers,
Absolutely.
and I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it.
Yeah.
Fine as hell.
Fine as hell. I mean,
Fine as
I mean, listen, if we want to get into characters that we all think are attractive, but maybe shouldn't, I definitely think, previously mentioned Fenna Shand, and you and I have both professed our loves several times for Ahsoka Tano.
oh yeah.
Huge
Hey, we're
fans.
on the internet here, and granted, our faces are plastered to this, but that's okay.
That's okay. I'll
You can
gladly.
think animated
Right.
characters um are good looking.
It's okay.
We know
It's
damn
cool.
well that the internet loves Ahsoka Tano.
Hey, it's 2021, and we're not the first to say it. We're not the first people to say
No,
it. So have a little
no.
grace, man.
We have some courage to say it with our faces behind it.
And
That's what
I'll
we
say
do
it.
here.
I'll
That's what
say
we
it
do
to the
here.
world. I'll say it to the world. I think cartoon Ahsoka's pretty attractive, good looking girl.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but
So's live action.
right,
Rosario.
so is live action, but animated
All right.
still.
I didn't expect this episode to get this horny this fast.
It slid quickly. I think we're like 8 minutes in, and it's gone
We're
off the
just talking
rails
about hot
already.
aliens now.
So
Here we
Tommy,
go.
what do you think the big conflict is going to be?
I don't care. I just want to see those bad bitch aliens, man. Woo!
Maybe Jar Jar comes, hangs out. You know what I mean? He gets in
Oh
a little
man.
bit. Well, he's my
Actually,
favorite.
I am able to tie this in
Absolutely.
to the show relevantly because originally in Clone Wars in the last season when the Bad Batch
Right.
enters, Anakin and Captain Rex get on their ship and they have a poster of Senator Amidala that they may have defiled a little bit and made her to be doing some inappropriate things, and they just threw it in the show, and it got Anakin very
Uh,
upset because the Bad Batch, they're just like us.
well, the Bad Bad originally Clone Wars was on Disney XD, wasn't it?
It was on, yeah, it was on Cartoon Network, and
Right.
uh, maybe it was on Disney XD. It might have been,
I think
but I
maybe.
know it was on Cartoon Network.
Right. I know it was originally there, and I think it might have got picked up by Disney XD. Neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Right. But um, I God, I'm so horny now. Oh, I lost my train of thought. Um, Pick it back up. Where are we, man?
I have no idea. We just started talking about possible characters. We will probably see Ahsoka though. I mean,
I
it would
mean,
make sense.
timelines match up, right? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
So
obviously. I
this is
mean, she's a major player in the animated series, both
right.
Clone Wars and Rebels. I'm actually watching Rebels right now. I'm like just started season 3 just because I never really, kind of like you, I just kind of put it off. So I actually started watching that like 2 weeks ago, and it's awesome. Like same
Yeah.
thing, just like stories awesome. They tie in things that they don't really talk about in the movies, and then just like exploring other story arcs. It's really cool. So like in that you get I mean it's been out forever so it's not really spoilers, but you get to see Ahsoka discovering that Darth Vader's Anakin. You get to see Darth Maul, what
Uh,
he's been up to. I haven't gotten to the episode yet, but there's the famous episode where Obi-Wan finally kills him.
mhm.
So a bunch of really cool stuff.
Yeah,
Some people don't
absolutely.
love the animation style, and there's some wacky stuff in it a little bit, but I mean, overall, story and the writing is awesome.
Do you think they change up the anime at all, or not the anime animation at all in Bad Batch, or do you think they stick with Clone Wars and um, Rebels? Kind of. I mean, we've seen obviously we've seen like the trailers and whatnot, but do you think that they
Mhm.
stick exactly the way that they did Clone Wars? Because I mean, Clone Wars, for what it's worth, was an older show. I mean, it's been around for a minute, so you can
Mhm.
definitely tell as the show progresses, the animation gets better and better and better. So I
Right.
guess, do you think that they're gonna keep on improving, or do you think that because by the end of Clone Wars, the animation looked pretty good? But I know,
Mhm.
and like you said, some people definitely have an issue with the style of animation, and I definitely, I agree with you. I can see how people would. So do you think that they make it now that they're expanding Star Wars into an everyone thing, do you think that they change up the animation style a little bit?
Yeah, so I think like it's going to be very similar to how it was in season 7 of the Clone Wars, the most recent one that came
Right.
out last year. But like you said, in the Clone Wars, we see the animation style change, like
Hmm.
very like slight differences. Almost every season it adjusted, and like you said, got better and better. And by the time season 7 came out, there were some shots of like the clones and stuff like that that ended up looking pretty damn similar to how the clones looked in
Right.
the movies.
Right.
So I expect them to keep like continuing that and just
Hmm.
keep working on it. I don't think it's going to be absolutely identical, but I think it's going to be pretty similar to how season 7 of the Clone Wars looked.
I hope they keep the style. I
Mhm.
do enjoy that style. As someone who's just kind of a fan of any sort of animation. I mean, I really like anime, and I love, I loved cartoons as a kid. Obviously, still watch some cartoons. So
Right,
I really definitely appreciate the different style, and I love what they did because they changed it up. There's not a ton
right.
of TV shows or even just like videos on YouTube with quite that style of animation. So I think that's super interesting, and
Yeah,
I hope they keep with it. I definitely
yeah,
why fix something that works perfectly fine, right?
yeah, definitely. I know you and I are both like totally cool with the animation, and I know
Right.
that's why you and I are both super excited to get the Star Wars actual like legitimate anime where all the
Right.
episodes are done by different Japanese style anime artists. I know that's going to be
What is that?
that's gonna be
Visions?
fire. Is it Visions? I think it is. It's called Star Wars Visions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be super cool. I still don't know for sure what storyline it's gonna follow. I don't know if they're just giving the creators free reign to do whatever, or if it's gonna follow the movies but just reanimate them and tell them in a different light. Yeah, I'm not too sure exactly how those storylines are gonna go, but that's gonna be another huge animated series.
And I've been, kind of keeping my ear to the ground about that one, because I'm just such a, I'm not such a huge anime fan, but
Right.
as an anime fan, I've just been kind of keeping my ear to the ground, like I said. From what I understand, some of these episodes might be full film feature film length episodes, which would be super cool. But
Hmm.
however, I don't quite think it makes sense to do so, because then at that point you're just adding new movies into the franchise, and I don't
Right.
think that is not a route that I would like to see it go. I would consume it, but I understand that it would also probably make a lot of people kind of turn away from it, and
Yeah.
not a ton of people will be able to appreciate it. So, I'd like to see where they're going to go with it, like you said, timeline wise. You know, and then, we're also getting, well, I'll let you get into it, but we're also getting an Ahsoka show, which
Yeah.
God bless. Super excited about that. We get that spinoff. Lots coming down the pipe for Star Wars now, and
Oh yeah. A lot of good stuff too.
right,
Yeah, for like full feature film length episodes for that Star Wars Visions, I don't know if they'll do like hour 45, 2 hour episodes, because then yeah, like you said, it is introducing like
mhm,
full new movies into this organization, into this world that we know. And that's a lot. It's a lot to just drop that in. But I'm totally cool if they're like an hour long.
right. Oh,
Honestly,
absolutely.
anything over there, it might get hard to honestly just like digest and be like, oh wow, like really be able to enjoy it and like really like just take it in, appreciate it.
Right.
Like getting a new movie every week, assuming
Yeah,
that they're going to release it how they're doing the shows, an
exactly.
episode a week. That's so much. That's
You
way
finish
too
it
much.
and you
Like
go,
we
God,
want
I
it.
gotta do this next week.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
And I
but
think the first episode of the Bad Batch actually is going to be about 71 minutes.
yeah,
I
perfect.
believe it got leaked where
Uh-huh.
that first one's going to be 71 minutes, counting credits. And I think the second one's going to be about like 32 minutes, again, including credits. That was a leak, so I'm not totally positive if it's true or not. But I also believe tomorrow or today, we're getting 2 episodes, similar to how they did the release of The Mandalorian. They
Yeah.
released episode 1 and 2 together. Same thing with WandaVision.
Okay.
Uh, since
Seems to
those
be
ones
their
had a little
style.
more episodes, just kind of putting both out there. And
Right.
yes, I think we're going to get episode 1 and 2 for the release.
Okay. I am a-okay with that, my man, honestly.
Cool.
I was just on something a second ago. Okay, so yeah. So here's the schedule as it sits right now. We've got episode 1 May 4th, and then Friday is what they're gonna do 2
Okay.
episodes this week.
Okay.
So episode 1 is tomorrow, obviously, or today as you guys are watching it, listening, consuming. And then the next episode 2, will be on Friday. And then from there, they're going to follow Friday's schedule as they have been with every single other one of their releases. I like the Friday schedule. I mean, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I like the Friday schedule.
Right.
Depending on how long episodes are, I'll usually be able to like check it out during my lunch break, or watch it really quick after work. And also, since typically, like with these things, like with the Mandalorian and WandaVision and stuff like that, honestly, when they're like 30-minute episodes, I just watch it like before work. So
Right.
sometimes I'm too pumped. Like all the finales, I wake up early and watch them before work. So but I do like the Friday release. It gives me something going into the weekend, starting my weekend off on a hot note. And it's really cool. Like honestly, I enjoy that a lot because a couple of my friends that, I do have that watch these things weekly, like you and I, we'll text each other, and just like it gives us something to talk about
You
over
watch
the
it yet?
weekend and stuff like that. Like, yeah, I know I bug you every Friday morning at 8 a.m. You get the text, dude, awesome episode, awesome episode. Did you watch it? And you're like, I literally just pulled into work.
Well, I have to go into work all early and stuff. I'm a
Yeah.
boring
Another
ass
benefit
guy.
of I work from home, so
Right,
I
right.
wake up 30 minutes earlier and get to watch
That's
my
awesome.
nerd content to start my Friday off hot.
So I have to wait till I get home from work, and after I avoid Twitter all day and pretty much
Yeah.
stand there sit at my desk, my phone face down on the desk. But we've all got our different watching. There's advantages and disadvantages to both, and I think mine is heavily disadvantageous, obviously, because I want to watch, I want to consume, and I can't stay up till 3 a.m. because I got to wake up at 5:30 every morning. But
Yeah.
I might stay up and watch this one. I might. Is it dropping at 3 a.m. this morning? Do we know what time?
I
Or
have no
tomorrow
idea.
morning?
I have no idea. That might be a gamble.
Right. That might
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
playing a
You roll the
dangerous
dice and
game.
stay up till 3, and it's not even, they don't even post it until noon.
Hey, I'm here for it, man.
Oh, that would suck. All
Uh,
right. Want to move into some of our personal preferences for stuff? Favorites, least favorites, things like that?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.
Tommy, take it away,
Cool.
baby. Lead us off. What do you got?
All
Favorites.
right. So, yeah. So I'm going to ask you, we'll just start with an easy one. What
Okay.
is your favorite and least favorite Star Wars movie?
Ooh, unpopular, super unpopular opinion on this one. Favorite was definitely, and this might get a little bit of hate, but Attack of the Clones is my favorite Star Wars movie. That might not get a lot of hate. It'll get a lot of hate from the purists, I feel like, because a lot of them, well, they hate anything made after 1985. They're like,
Yep.
the originals, not as good as the originals. Attack of the Clones was a damn good movie.
Okay. Okay.
Least favorite? Oh God. Um, the last guy, or the Rise of Skywalker. Honestly, I
Hmm.
didn't like it. I
Yeah.
didn't.
I mean, I feel like a lot of
What's your name,
little
Ray?
girl.
Huh?
I went with the wrong song there. You were going
Ray.
with the Star Wars reference, which is totally on topic, and I went with the rock and roll song. But oh well, what are we gonna do?
I love
Yeah,
it.
I feel like a lot of least favorite things may be coming from that the sequel saga, but maybe a couple sneaky favorites
Right.
coming in too.
Right. Well,
So yeah,
and
what's up?
with the sequels, I'm not one of those. I hated every single one of them, and I guess Rogue One isn't a sequel, but it's one of my Rogue One ended up being one of my favorite of the franchise. I mean, it's definitely not a sequel, but it's a prequel, I guess. But is that
I think like out of technicality, since it's before the original trilogy that makes it a prequel, right?
Right. That makes that, by all intents
Do
and
we lump it in
purposes,
with the
you know,
prequels?
the end of the movie is the fucking beginning. You know what I mean? Of everything that we
Right.
know.
Right. It's another
So,
movie that just ties in a gap in the story.
and
So
it was,
nothing like one of the best franchises of all time, and their entire movie is based off of a giant plot hole of how do they know that there's a hole in the Death Star?
right. So they,
And then
you
they
know,
said, you know what? Let's just make a movie and make a quick $1 billion off telling people how.
they said, we got to get the, hey, drawing board. We got to get there. They steal it.
Yeah.
They steal the plans. But yeah, so okay, well, I guess I'll ask you the same question, then I'll ask you a question of my own. Please, first, favorite and least favorite Star Wars film.
All right. So my favorite movie is going to be Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, hell yeah. Right.
Pretty easy one for me there, and I think a lot of people, especially like our age, will agree with that one. It was the first movie that I ever saw of Star Wars. Saw it in movie theaters. My dad took me and a couple of my buddies in first grade, and I saw it, and I had no clue what was going on, but the all of the lightsaber fights and just the battles and really just all of that intense action is what really sucked me in. I wasn't really able to understand or appreciate the story until a little bit later on. But then once you really kind of understand that as well, paired with all of the amazing action scenes, it's just awesome. It was the original movie that tied everything in together. And yeah, just the fight scenes in there, incredible. And we'll get on to fight scenes a little later.
Right.
My least favorite movie. What's the middle prequel? The
Was TFA,
The Last Jedi.
Last Jedi, TLJ. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's probably my least favorite. I could go the. I mean, I honestly don't hate the sequels too terribly much.
No.
My really, again, why I hate it is just because like that one didn't move the story
There
along
was nothing
at
to
all.
it.
You could take that one out of that trilogy and still get the same trilogy.
Right.
But you can't do that with any of the other trilogies. The
Nope.
first ones, if you take one of those movies out, you're totally lost. So for that reason, it goes up as my least favorite movie.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess the fans are probably going to see this one coming. It's, favorite Marvel. I'm not going to say movie. Let's go favorite, just any favorite piece, facet of the MCU and least favorite facet of the MCU.
Oh, okay. I have a curveball coming for you here.
All right.
Also, this is where when I said an interactive one, all these questions and prompts, we want you to comment below favorite
Right.
movies, least favorite movies,
Absolutely.
everything we give you, comment below what yours is. We want to know. All right. So not necessarily a
Don't
favorite
say
movie,
it.
huh?
All right.
All right.
Say
So
your
my favorite movie is, I mean, it has to be Infinity War.
Yeah.
Just overall, I mean, it's probably one of my top 10 favorite movies ever. So then, I mean, just naturally, it's going to be my favorite Marvel movie.
Absolutely.
But then also up there is probably The Winter Soldier. I
Right.
mean, everything about that I really love just because it takes a style and genre of movie, being like spy, espionage, things like that, but it applied superhero like nuggets into it,
Right.
which just kind of that formula worked out to be really cool. And it really started to you start to see the character development of Steve Rogers, Captain America, starting to go away from just being the perfect upbeat guy all the time, starting to dabble into those shadow ops type things.
Right.
So that was really cool. Least okay, but then my favorite, I'm gonna subset this because it's not one of my favorite properties, but my favorite Marvel TV show is The Punisher.
Oh, interesting. That's a good one.
Mhm.
That is a
Yeah,
good one.
I
What's his name?
I absolutely John Bretnall.
Is that who plays him?
Yeah, that's who plays him.
Okay.
It's Frank Castle is the
Right.
character.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, that show was just so cool. Netflix did it, so it was just like incredibly gory. They did not hold back at all. Um, just awesome fight sequences. Again, it was really cool to me just because Marvel superhero property, but that show had no superpowers in it at all. It was just all totally normal people.
Guy who hates
And for that
fucking
reason,
cops.
guy who hates
And for that
fucking
reason,
cops. Yeah. So I mean, that one was just really cool. The actor that does it does an incredible job. So that's my favorite Marvel show.
Hey, okay. Least
All
favorite
right.
fast of the MCU. What do you got?
Um, honestly, probably like either Iron Man 2 or Thor 2. Um,
Right.
I don't know. I just never
Not
got
much
into them.
added. Right.
Yeah, pretty much. I think Iron Man 2 because very similar to the typical superhero movie script. He just fights someone that has like similar powers and technology to him. Again, same thing
Right.
as the first one. It kind of just took a villain that wanted to make his technology and then used it for evil.
Mickey Rourke
So that
playing
that was kind of
that.
like, all right, well, we kind of just did the same thing in the first one.
Right.
There were some pretty cool parts of it. The suitcase was really cool.
Mhm.
The sequence where he like puts it
Drops
on
the
the ground and shoots up
suitcase
that way.
at
That's
the
pretty
race in
sweet. And
Monaco.
then, yeah, Thor: The Dark World. I mean, I think that's pretty obvious. It's just kind of boring.
It really doesn't do much for me. I agree with you. But yeah, I would say my favorite is, I mean, just in terms of movie wise, is Doctor Strange for sure.
Okay.
I think it opens everything up to the multiverse. It's not like, this is a multiverse. It's not the introduction of the It's just, it really
Hmm.
dives in depth how, the time stone, kind of operates everything that moves.
Yeah,
And
it's at the time we didn't know, but it's just a huge stepping stone
right.
into what we're going to be getting in the future.
So, and it wasn't my favorite at first. I thought it was an awesome movie at
Okay.
first when I watched it. Then the MCU progressed and we got Infinity War and Endgame, and it's like, holy
Yeah.
shit. I went
Yeah.
back and watched that movie, and I sat there, and my jaw just kept dropping over and over and over again. I'm going, this was right in plain sight, and
Hmm.
and nobody ever caught it. I mean, I'm sure somebody was kind of like, "What's that, Leo DiCaprio?" And he was like,
From Once Upon a Time in Hollywood Place.
right, right, and he's pointing at the
Yeah, there it
screen.
is, there it is.
Right, but that was me
Yeah.
the entire time rewatching Doctor Strange. It's like, oh, I know what you know.
Yeah.
So and
That one, a kind of a fun fact about that one, and then I'm sure it's going to come up in one of my coming up favorites, probably the next question I'm going to ask you. But uh, so Doctor Strange, that was one of the movies that I was actually really hesitant to go see. I
mhm,
was like, and this was at the time where again we didn't really know that all of this stuff was going to be building up into this huge main event.
right,
So yeah, that was one of the ones where I just was just kind of like, oh man, this is some standalone movie that
Benedict
the dude's
Cumberbatch is
name is
the
literally strange. Like, I don't know. I'm not really digging this one.
right.
So that was before again, like a lot of this, like is, uh, the Star Wars I've been super, super into since like I was a little kid.
Mhm.
But then I didn't start getting really into the Marvel stuff until I was like in high school, which is when that one came out. And I was just like, nah, I don't want to go see that. And now it's just an awesome movie.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And then favorite show, I guess it's kind of like yours. Daredevil, man.
That's my second favorite.
Daredevil was fucking awesome. I mean, like you
Yeah.
said, it was done by Netflix. They didn't give a shit about, they don't have to, it's not necessarily a family streaming platform, so they don't have to abide by any rules or anything. And it was just a beat 'em up, run and gun. It was awesome. And that's from uh, growing up. I mean, to be honest with you, I think Daredevil was the first ever Marvel movie I ever saw. I mean, that movie was made in what? Hold on, let me look that up. That was
I want to say 2000,
it was
like early 2000s,
mid
2003.
2000s, early 2000s, 2003. You nailed it right on the head with Ben
Got it.
Affleck playing. It was, yeah, Ben Affleck, Jennifer Garner, Colin Farrell, Michael
In his
Clark.
leather suit. I've actually never seen that movie.
It
So,
is okay. Going back on it now, you'll watch it and go, oh, all right, it's a movie. I
mhm.
guess it's a see, it's Daredevil, and you'll be able to appreciate it. But that, I mean,
Right.
dude, for real, I mean that, and then to see it adapted into a show is kind of just,
The
my
show is
brother,
awesome.
right?
That's another
Um,
one where just, like, the writing I thought was so good.
oh yeah,
Kingpin, I don't know the name of the guy who plays him, but I mean, just a perfect casting for that guy. right? I mean,
Right.
he
I mean,
literally looked just like the comic book character
was
as much as a human could have.
it's Michael Clark,
Yeah,
Hollywood's, scary big black. I mean, I don't mean to be like, but like it's Hollywood's big scary black guy, and that's who. I read the Daredevil comics
Kingpin's
after.
white, dude.
Is he really? Kingpin's not in the movie.
Yeah, he is.
Kingpin is played by Michael Clark in the movie. I have it right here.
Oh well, in the show Daredevil, he's
Oh no, I'm talking
white.
movie. I'm talking the movie. Okay, sorry. No,
Oh,
we're on
okay. Because
different
in the
channels right
comics,
now.
the show, and Spider-Verse, he's white.
Oh,
So what an interesting take by the
are you
movie.
positive he was white in the comics? I
Yeah,
mean, you know more about that shit than I do, but
yeah.
I
He's
just remember.
the villain in Spider-Verse.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But yeah, he's in Daredevil, the movie, 2003 movie, is Michael Clark. Big scary,
Okay.
really big. You'd know him if you see him. He was in the Green Mile. He was the big dude in Green Mile that
Okay.
vomited up all the bees. But yeah, no, hell of a casting. But in the Netflix show, who the hell played him? Now that's gonna bug me. Um, Vincent D'Onofrio. I don't know who that guy is, but
Yeah, me either. I only know him from that show.
like, yeah, that's the only time I big dude, big
Yeah.
dude. Charlie Cox
Yeah.
is
And
Matt
then what was
Murdock.
it?
I mean,
Season 2 of Daredevil when the Punisher ended up showing up in it.
hold on.
I know, because like so that season, whichever one the Punisher showed up in, that season was kind of like a prequel to what the season 1 of the Punisher was. Like his
Right.
opening montage of him killing like gangs and stuff. Season 2 of Daredevil like took that on. It was pretty sweet.
Badass. It was
Yeah,
badass.
badass
Uh,
stuff.
Least favorite Marvel movie? I mean, I'd have to agree with you. Iron Man 2, probably. I love the Iron Man series. It was great. I'm not gonna
That's like
say
your guy. That's your guy.
that's my guy. Tony Stark's my guy. Stephen Strange is my real guy, but Tony Stark is. I mean, that was Iron Man is what got me into actually got me into reading into the universe, getting understanding what it is and how it's set up. I bought my first comic that I ever bought was an Iron Man story. Second one was a Spider-Man story. I loved the Spider-Man series. But yeah,
Yeah. I
I
have a
just
slight inkling that this upcoming Spider-Man movie might have some serious potential to be my number one spot.
oh oh absolutely, just seeing all of the rumors and who is cast and who's
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
that movie is going
If
to
half of
be
the rumors about this movie are true,
right.
it's
Right.
gonna be nuts.
It's going to be absolutely nuts. It's going to blow a lot of people's socks off. Least favorite
Yeah,
show, um, Agents of Shield. I got a season into it and I was like, God, I can't watch this anymore. I just,
it's bad. It's really bad.
it's bad. And that's probably the only I keep overusing the word facet, but I guess that's the best way to describe it. It is easily, though, in my opinion, just the worst facet of the whole. However, there are some important parts, but I googled all those important parts. You know what I mean?
There
It's like what was in
you
Shield
go.
that means something, and it was like here this. Nick Fury, fucking what's her name, Robin, and she's Robin in How I Met Your Mother. What is her damn name?
Oh, Maria Hill.
Maria Hill, and so yeah, great. We get their kind of their backstories and what they do, and what Shield does in the background and all that stuff. But
Yeah,
yeah, all
yeah,
right.
could do without it.
Question number 3. Let's hit it. Hit me with it.
All right. Your favorite team from either franchise.
Favorite team, as in
Just favorite team. I could go first to give you an
yeah.
example.
Give me an example. Hit me with your
All right.
favorite team.
So my favorite team from I'll go Marvel first. And it's not the obvious pick of the Avengers, but it's actually going to be the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
I'm going to go with the version in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 at the end. So we could throw Mantis in there because she's funny, but I absolutely love Yondu. Uh,
Right.
awesome character. So at the end there, when Rocket's like you said, welcome to the freaking Guardians of the Galaxy, except he didn't say freaking. So, Yondu gets inducted into the team for 10 minutes before he dies.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just my favorite team. What I was saying before, the first Guardians, that's another movie that I actually didn't see until the second one came out.
Right.
It came out and I was just like, okay, pretty big actors, but like this just seems like a stupid movie. Like, what the heck are we doing here? I don't know. And then I watch it the first time and I'm like, holy shit. Like,
This is a good movie.
this is awesome.
The
This is
soundtrack,
absolutely
I
awesome.
mean, the soundtrack alone just makes the movie a classic. You know what I mean? And
Oh
the
yeah.
first,
And I'm like, that movie's so beloved by so many people.
oh, absolutely.
And also like the style of music that they use in those movies just happens to be the like kind of music that I listen
Oh,
to.
right.
So
Right,
that
right, right.
automatically made it like way more cool for me. But I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, that's probably my favorite Marvel team. But the volume 2 team to include
Right.
Yondu because his
Right.
arrow is so cool. And then for Star Wars, a Star Wars team, I will go. There's a lot of picks here, but I'm gonna go. Oof, I didn't think about this, so this is on the spot. I'm gonna do. Oh my god, I don't even know. I'll just do a pretty base. No, because that's not. All right, my heart's telling me the new from the Mandalorian. Mando, Boba, Fennec, Cara
Okay.
Dune. We don't say
Okay.
her. Canceled. The episode with Bill Burr when they
Right.
have to break into the prison
Oh,
and
what is their
he,
names? Not
I
their
don't know
names,
Bill
but
Burr's
they,
name because he's just Star Wars Bill Burr in that show.
right.
Uh, but yeah, so that crew, just the Boba Mando team up is so sick. New
Hell
new
yeah.
Boba armor, fresh painted. We finally get to see the inside of the Slave One, and also we get the Sonic cannon in that
Right.
episode. So
Absolutely.
what a team up there. That was so yeah. Over to you now.
Okay, favorite team from Marvel. I have a couple. I guess I have like it's they're not really, it's not like the Avengers, but it is they are just they happen to be Avengers. So
Okay.
my favorite team up would be the Hulk and Thor when they team up in Ragnarok.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
oh, what's the big blue dude's name? Um,
The big
his
blue dude.
Yes, Korg.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
dude,
Meek and Cord.
right, right. They don't
That's Taika
all
Waititi,
right.
the guy that's made of rocks. So
Yes.
Cord.
So, I just think they obviously don't all work together the whole Ragnarok.
The
Um,
revolution has begun.
I just watched that the other night. That movie is fucking hilarious. And then I would say probably honorable mention. I mean, honestly, like I would say like Wanda and Vision, just because they're so ridiculously powerful. It is bonkers just to watch.
Hmm.
Star Wars, that's a good question.
Right, right.
That is a tough question. I mean, like you can go like big groups, small groups.
Hmm.
But I would say Boba, or not Boba. Shit. Anakin. Um, oh my God. Jar Jar Binks and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Here's why. Because Jar Jar Binks is double crossing them the entire time. You know what I mean? He's a Sith Lord. So
Yeah.
he
Well, everyone knows that Sith Lords have yellow eyes, and Jar
and
Jar has yellow
he
eyes.
he force jumps. He literally, he's like, "Oh, I'm Mr. Clumsy Jar Jar," and he's like force jumping and like front flipping over shit, like just when nobody's looking. You just like you want me to believe that he doesn't have
When
some
no
sort
one's
of
looking at him character-wise, but the camera's still on him,
right.
he's incredibly coordinated.
It's like like I said, like there's like one scene where they're running through the jungle and he like force jumps, like does like a perfect front duck and lands it just fine. And he's behind everybody, so none of them see it. He's double crossing their asses, and that's what I appreciate. You can't have a good team if you can't have a good trio if somebody's not stabbing in the back. So That's
Okay.
going to be my favorite team from Star Wars. Just random team up and group up.
So I like your stab in the back comment because I wasn't even thinking about that, but both mine have backstabbers. So we got Yondu and then Bill Burr's guy. So
Right,
perfect.
right.
Checked all
I
the
mean,
boxes.
Yondu redeems. I guess Bill Burr does too. I was gonna say they kind of
Yeah.
have like their whole redemption arc. I mean, Yondu's is way more like drawn out, cooler if you ask me than Bill Burr's in Star Wars, but I still think
Well, yeah, it's a
Burr's
show versus a movie too.
right,
So
right. Okay. Favorite and least favorite like non-Marvel or Star Wars movie series.
ooh, good one. Good one. Dabbling out of our typical stuff here.
Right.
All right. That is a good one. If you have one in mind, you could go first.
Okay. Favorite definitely is going to be Transformers. I've seen every single movie like 4 times. If there's one thing
Hmm.
I can go on and on and on for hours about, it is Transformers. And everyone looks at me like I have like 6 eyes when they're like, what do you like to watch when you can't think of anything to watch? I'm like, I turn Transformers 3 Dark of the Moon on almost every single time. um and then honorable mention for sure, it really isn't quite a series, and I'm not going to include the most recent installments, but Jurassic Park.
Okay.
That I grew up on that shit. That got me into kind of like, I guess you consider it sci-fi. I watched those movies religiously as a kid, and I still do to this day. If it's on, I turn it on.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I love Jurassic Park. Big
right,
Jurassic Park guy.
it's
There's the final new one's supposed to be coming out soon.
keeps getting
I
pushed
don't know when. I
back.
haven't heard anything.
And
Yeah.
and by the way, when I say I'm going to exclude the most recent installments, I don't necessarily mean I didn't like them, but I can't. I'm not going to put them on the same plane of existence. I guess same universe,
Okay.
same thing. I'm not going to put them together.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Awesome. I was able to come up with some of mine.
Okay, let's hear it.
So I think number one, I'm going to go. Oh, damn. There's okay. Another one just popped. All right. Number one, I'm gonna go Pirates of the Caribbean.
Hell yeah, my wife is going to want to kiss you on the mouth for saying that when she listens to this.
Well, Lexi.
Lexi and Allie are huge. Allie,
Yeah. Those
Allie
movies were
being
so
my wife's sister.
awesome. 1, 2, and 3, incredible. Obviously Johnny Depp just murdered the
Absolutely.
role of Captain Jack Sparrow to the point where they're never going to be able to remake those because he did so good.
Right.
Like, what can you say? Like that's him. Like you cannot ever recast that or anything like that. Um, like just so cool, and like especially for like at the time the special effects and like just the visuals of those movies were incredible, as well as like just the storytelling again, very very cool. So that's probably my favorite outside of this stuff. And then another one that I really really liked growing up was Indiana Jones, those movies.
Oh, thank God. I thought you were going to say Harry Potter, bro. I was terrified you were going to say Harry Potter. Go ahead.
I'm not a huge Harry Potter guy. I've seen all the movies and stuff, but like they don't they don't really do it for me like they do it for a lot of people.
Right. It's
But yeah, so Indiana Jones.
sorry. Okay, continue. Go ahead. Keep going on
Yeah,
Indiana Jones.
yeah. Just like a very similar style to Star Wars being made
Right.
in like the 80s and stuff like that. Pretty much all practical effects, no really special effects. I love the story of the one, I think it's the third one, where he's in like the desert and the guy's doing the thing with the sword. He pulls out his gun and just shoots him. That was improvised by Harrison Ford. I guess he was supposed to do something with a knife and fight him, but the story is that like he really had to go shit on set, like really bad. So he just pulled out his gun and like shot him and just walked off and went to the bathroom.
Practical.
So awesome. The most recent one with the crystal skull gets pretty funky.
I
Um,
I liked it. I haven't seen
I
it
did too. I
in a
did too.
long time. It's a good movie. I thought it was pretty cool, and there's a lot of
Yeah,
weird things about the crystal skulls in real life.
yeah,
They're real
it definitely
things.
gets funky. Believe it or not, Spielberg actually talked to his good friend. George Lucas on what the story should be for that fourth movie, and George said, "Have you thought about aliens?" So George Lucas had a little input on what they should be going after.
Hey, I
I
mean
don't think he did on
that's
this next upcoming one, which is
right.
supposed to be the final one. And honestly, I hope it is the final one. I personally don't even think they should do a fifth one because Harrison Ford can barely walk.
Guy is
So
old, man.
I don't know what they're gonna do with it, but I'm pumped to see it.
Hey, man, Harrison Ford reprising his roles. I'm all for it. I'm here for it.
Yeah, that role's like his baby. Like he absolutely loves that one.
Least favorite non-Marvel or Star Wars movie series that you just, whenever you hear it, you just kind of cringe a little bit.
Hmm.
Mine's Harry Potter. Fuck Harry Potter. I think those movies are terrible. It's just all right. Continue. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, like I've seen all the Harry Potters. I really liked the first like three or four.
Right.
Whichever one was the tournament one, um, that had Edward Cullen from Twilight in it.
Why do I want to say
Which
that was the Order of the Phoenix? I think that was the fourth one. Those dragons.
yeah, but like after that, I wasn't really too into any of the final ones. I didn't think
I will
did
say I
very
did.
well.
I liked the
Um,
books. I read the books as a kid. They were good
I never
books.
I never read the books. One that I don't like. Um,
You like
Honestly,
the
it's gonna be pretty weird. Like I'm not a huge like shit, what is it? I mean, okay, I'll take a softball here. Not including the Christopher Nolan Batman ones, DC movies.
Oh
They
yeah,
like for the just in general. In
Dan's gonna
general,
have a
not very
fit.
good. Obviously, all the Christopher Nolan Batmans are great. I
Right.
really like those.
Correct.
I enjoyed Aquaman. Um, haven't seen the newest Wonder Woman, but I heard it's hot garbage.
It's one of
uh,
the worst movies that's come out in a long time.
yeah, but other than that, like some of the other movies, they just been pretty big misses. So like the Suicide Squad, Harley
Oh,
Quinn, like just big flops, and it sucks because those are such like beloved characters. I think for the most part in like fandoms and the nerd community, those are more of the beloved heroes versus the Marvel characters. So like Superman and Batman, those are like the two biggest superheroes ever. And it's like you guys can't find a way to make a good team up movie with those guys. I mean, come on.
I finally got around to watching the Snyder Cut, the 4-hour Justice League movie.
Okay, I still have not.
It was good. I'm gonna just that is all I'll say. If you're
Yeah,
gonna
I've
make
heard it.
it,
I've
if
heard it's
you're
pretty
gonna
good.
make a movie over 3 hours, it needs to be Endgame, and that's probably just my partisanship showing. I'm very biased towards Marvel, but I think if you're gonna make a superhero movie that long, you need to make it as action packed um, as Endgame was, because when the second that movie Endgame started, it was like we are getting straight into this shit, and you're gonna be on the edge of your seat for 3 hours. The
Yeah.
first 25 minutes of the Snyder Cut was I'm telling you, you could have just done away with it. It was it was
Oh,
just
really?
like I mean, it just I don't know. That movie didn't need to be 4 hours.
Yeah,
However,
that's
I
on my
do
to-do list is to watch that one.
right, and I do like a lot of the characters of the Justice League. I grew up watching the Justice League cartoon. I mean, that was one of my jams on Cartoon Network.
Hmm.
Cyborg is one of my favorite superheroes. Batman, like you said, the Christopher Nolan movies, and that will always I will always exclude the Christopher Nolan Batman's trilogy. It was three of them, right?
Yep,
Right. Those three, I will always exclude
those
those
were
from my
awesome.
DC slander. Those were
Yep.
incredible movies. I have
Yeah,
friends.
and that's why I'm so pumped. Like, also, I think the Joker standalone movie was awesome,
Oh
which
yeah. Oh yeah.
also makes me excited for this upcoming Batman movie because it's a standalone, I believe.
Right. It's
So that leads me to believe that it's gonna just be a sweet movie.
And I think that's probably what DC should stick to, is standalone movies. The
Hmm.
Batman trilogy
Right.
didn't have, it wasn't super immersive into the universe. Obviously, you could tell one came after the other after the other. You understood that was understood and implied. But
Hmm.
I just think it is a very good superhero movie, but they do a little bit lack complexity. um I think there's obviously the complexity there, but you compare it to uh, even even the Transformers movies. I mean, there is a lot of complexity there. And the Emoji Movie, but we'll get into that on a later episode. I'll dedicate a whole episode to that. um
Oh man.
but I just think my only complaint about just DC in general, I would say, just as a whole. And Dan, our
Yeah.
guest last week, is going to be screaming at his car radio when he listens to this, or YouTube screen. And shout out to you, Dan. Much love to you, brother. But um,
We
I'm just
appreciate you coming on, but there's a reason we held this conversation till this week. No, but it does stink because like all their animated stuff is awesome.
oh,
Like
absolutely.
all their animated like shows, video games, like those are all so done so well. But for whatever reason, it just doesn't always translate into their live action. So that's pretty tough. All
Oh,
right, this
okay.
next one,
Can't say that.
uh, you don't have to do a least favorite because I think that'd be pretty hard to come up with.
Okay.
But let's talk about fight sequences.
Fight sequence is going to be in anything. All right, Revenge
Yeah,
of the Sith,
yeah,
the lava scene for sure. By
right,
far, that's the
right.
first
The
thing that
battle on
came to my
Mustafar.
brain when you said that. That is, I
Yep,
hate you. Yeah, I've got the
that might
high
be
ground,
one of the
Anakin.
most quoted Star Wars like scenes too. Especially like there's so many TikToks of people just doing like the "If you're not with me, you're against me.
um,
You're my best Anakin."
underrated. I would say Maul and oh shit, where Maul dies. I fucked this up
Yeah,
earlier,
Naboo,
second episode.
episode one. Him,
But
Obi-Wan, and Qui-Gon.
Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. I think that is for the time it came from. I mean, it's obviously not a super. I mean, I guess it's an older movie, but just a lot of the fight choreography. That's something I can really appreciate. I
Yeah,
think that's it's when you can have a guy who is basically doing acrobatics while wielding a two-sided saber. That was super awesome. And then
right.
I would say third place, um, the Leaper versus Falcon in the first episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier. Incredible.
Ooh,
Georges
ooh, a
St.
recent.
Pierre.
Okay.
I mean, we have somebody who is a trained fighter and is classically trained in how to fight. He makes
Hmm.
that fight scene flow so well. And to do it with the challenge of the plane going like this, so obviously there's some gravity issues, and they're moving in a
Hmm.
moving vehicle for all intents and purposes. So
Yeah,
I
I wonder
think
how much input he got on the fight choreography and like
right.
uh, how much he helped make it like really feel like an authentic fight there.
Absolutely, his input had. I mean, they had to value his input, because he's, he can basically, and I hope they did. I agree with you. I hope they did, get his input from it. Kind of said, the flow of a fight. You know how things happen. You can perfectly double leg take down somebody. How can we make that?
Hmm.
How can we make that translate on the screen? I just thought that was an awesome fight scene. What about you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, number one goes to that Mustafar fight of Anakin and Obi-Wan. I mean,
Right.
it's just so perfectly done. Like as far as like things go between like overrated and underrated, that fight scene is just so perfectly rated as the best lightsaber fight of all time.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
between like the music, the planet, and like environment that they're on,
Uh huh.
seeing their robes just getting like tattered and burned as the scene goes on, like just how intense it is, and like also, I mean, I'm like really nerding out of like the very minute details of the fight versus just the actual like them hitting each other's lightsabers. Like the stakes that were at hand, like
Right.
I mean, just everything was so awesome about that. And then the fact that it's like also super long is just great. It wasn't like a 2 minute sequence. It was like
No,
like pushing 30 minutes of
that's what I'm
fighting, which
saying.
was awesome.
Well, and it it gives us Darth Vader like as we know him. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That's just
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
like you said, the stakes. It's like that's what
Right.
comes from it. So yeah,
So I'm
absolutely.
gonna drop some really deep nerd stuff in here, and if you are still watching the YouTube at this point, let me know in the comments below if you knew this as well. But so in the comics, uh, the whole sequence about uh, Obi-Wan having the high ground, and he looks at Anakin, he says, "Don't do it, Anakin. I have the high ground." Um, in the comics, Anakin was so obsessed with figuring out how Obi-Wan was able to defeat Maul when Maul clearly had the high ground. And he tried and like he studied the footage from Naboo like on a security camera of Obi-Wan doing that move where he forces himself, uses the force to get over him and kill him that way. And he just gets so obsessed with it. And they actually find like in security videos Anakin practicing that exact move like over and over again in Jedi training centers until like he's able to do it. And Obi-Wan saw this, and so inherently he knew that he was going to try it, and that's why he was able to defend it so well.
Huh.
So that's just a super deep cut
Yeah,
from the
absolutely.
comics of him being like, "Don't do it, man." And then outside of that, another one would probably be in Infinity War, the fight on Titan, specifically the
Oh.
part when Iron Man has his duel with Thanos, as well as the Doctor Strange versus Thanos sequence.
Hmm.
Just like those two, Thanos and Strange, using their magic abilities against each other, trying to overpower one another with their these mystical abilities, one from the stones and Strange from his sorcerer abilities. All the special effects in that were incredible. The mirror dimension, the butterflies, all of that stuff was just super cool.
I always forget about. I watched Infinity War here like a couple weeks ago, and I just the whole mirror dimension kind of slipped my mind. That shit was wild. That shit was
Hmm.
that was an awesome part of that movie, and it just kind of like it caught me off guard again. And you're like, whoa, right, right,
Yeah,
yeah, I remember that happening. So yeah, I mean
yeah,
that was a
yeah.
good one. That was a good one. I have no more questions, Your Honor. How about you?
I mean, we could pick and poke at this like
All
all
day.
day.
Hey.
Just so that people could get to know me a little better. Uh, my favorite. So now we're just gonna get like real nitty gritty here. My favorite version of Anakin is Anakin from the animated series, The Clone Wars.
Yo, yeah,
In episode two,
easily.
he's very, very bitchy and whiny. But in the Clone Wars, he's pretty much his same confident, arrogant to a flaw self that we see in the opening sequence of episode three.
They
From the
really
start
hit.
until he kills Count Dooku. That's pretty much who he is
Mhm.
in the whole series, The Clone Wars, which is his best self, I think.
They really hit on his arrogance in the Clone Wars, and I like that
Hmm.
is his main. And like you said, to a fault. I mean, that is pretty much his main character flaw is how arrogant he was. I thought I I
Yeah,
agree with you though. I my favorite. That's definitely my favorite version of Anakin. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a good point. It's a very good point.
thank you. Then my favorite version of Obi-Wan is your favorite Star Wars movie, Attack of the Clones, Obi-Wan.
Absolutely,
Episode
absolutely.
2, Obi-Wan, Flow Daddy Kenobi.
Oh yeah,
Just
baby.
mystical flow,
Uh,
just fighting Jango Fett, awesome fight scene. And in the battle at Geonosis, when he's in the arena, he does the lightsaber spin and then stabs the monster in the head, and he just pushes his hair back. Whoo!
who's the Genoshan? Oh, he's the creep. What is his damn name? He's the fly. He's from. I
Yeah, I
think
never
he's from.
really learned their names.
He
I think his
talks
name's just
like
or something.
this. He's my
The
favorite.
guy from episode 1, the blue one?
No, is he a Genoshan?
No,
Oh
the guy
no,
that
he's
owned
totally not a Genoshan. No, he's not.
Anakin and his mom.
Yes.
Hey, Annie.
Annie. I was totally thinking of two different people there. Yeah, Logan's. Hey, there's Logan's dumbass moment of the episode, and it came damn near the end. I'll take it. I'll
You're
take
doing
it.
good, man. You're doing good.
I was reading something about the Genosians earlier, and I remember that they fly with, kind of like the fly wings, and that's just my brain. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I would say my favorite version of Anakin is the next one. So that's where I'm at with it, in Obi-Wan.
Nice. Nice.
All right,
All
man.
right.
Well,
I really don't have any more questions either. So
I got
if you want to close us out here.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in to another episode. We really appreciate you guys' support. And you guys are awesome for watching, subscribing, liking, telling your friends. We noticed that a lot of you posted our link on your Instagram stories. So if you would actually not mind doing that every week, we would greatly appreciate that. That's awesome if you guys gets the word out, lets people know, come watch, come listen, talk to us, have fun. We're here for fun. We're not, you'll find, obviously, you probably know by now, Tommy and I aren't super serious guys. We like to have a good time with it. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah, we
come.
got horny the first 6 minutes.
it was just unlimited horniness the first 6 minutes of the episode. And a lot of people are going to turn it off past then, but if you made it this far, thank you so much, for real. We really
Yep.
appreciate you guys. We really appreciate you guys listening. So without further ado, hit us on all socials. We will be posting. Tommy posts a bunch of different stuff to Instagram. I've been kind of in charge of the Twitter, kind of figuring that whole thing out. Not super good at Twitter, but we're figuring it out. Hit us up on Twitter and Instagram, New Era Nerds Pod, no caps, no spaces, all of that. Hit us up on TikTok, where Tommy also posts some of the spiciest nerdy content on the internet. New_era_nerds pod. No, pod's not in there. New_era_nerds. Hit us up.
Yep.
Like we said, come talk to us. Come hang out with us. Comment on the pictures. We'll reply to you. I'll probably reply to you on my personal account. Not that that means anything, but you'll get to know who I am. You can follow me. You can follow Tommy. You can figure out who we are as people. So yeah, hit us up on social media. We really appreciate having you guys. So Tommy, thanks for recording another great episode. Love you, bud.
Yeah, love you too.